The biggest thing that is keeping people from building wealth is their mindset. It's not their money, it's not the debt they have, it's not the investments they have or lack of investments. It is mostly their mindset. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you 7 kind of mindset things, 7 kind of sayings that are keeping people down, and how we can kind of reverse those sayings and those mindsets into a more positive way and help you actually build wealth. Let me know in the comment section if you grew up hearing these sayings. And the first one is, everyone has debt. And this is kind of showing that debt has become somewhat of a normal thing for someone to carry. It is normal for you to have a car loan. It's normal for you to have $8,000, $10,000 in credit cards. It's normal for you to have student loans. We need to change our mindset from everyone has debt to we can strategically have debt. Everyone does not have to have debt. There are some things as bad debt and good debt. When we say everyone has debt, we can't have the credit cards with the interest rate of 30%. We can't have the personal loans that's used for something that doesn't even benefit us or build us wealth, because a lot of times it's hard to build wealth with debt. We want to make sure that we're staying out of these bad debts and be very particular with the things you buy and use for debt. Like, we don't want to go out here pulling out a home loan to do a remodel for a basement or for a garage if it's not going to bring a lot of value to the house, especially if you don't plan on selling this house. We don't want to take a loan on our 401k. We don't want that kind of debt. Just because everyone has it does not mean that you should accept having debt or just seeing it as I have debt, they have debt. Like, there's nothing wrong with carrying debt. Carrying debt is a bad thing, especially if it's those 30% interest rates, because if you put that money in the market, it's only growing at a 7 to 10% rate of return, and a 30% interest rate on your credit cards or that personal loan, in that. So we want to stay out of that as much as we can, especially if it's those high interest debts. And car loans. Have to get debt on a car loan, you want to make sure you follow the 23-8 rule. 20% down or more, 3-year loan term, and the payment should not be more than 8 to 10% of your income. The second saying is that you need credit cards for emergencies. Now, this is a saying that I actually heard not too long ago. It's a mindset that kind of goes with that everyone has debt. You don't need a credit card for emergencies. Actually, having a credit card for emergencies is probably the worst thing that you can do. What we want to do instead is to build an emergency fund. So instead of saying we need credit card for emergencies, let's say we need an emergency fund for emergencies. We need a lot of money in our savings account. We need $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 in our savings account for emergencies. We cannot rely on a credit card for emergencies, because this is actually what happens. You swipe your credit card for your emergency, whatever that emergency was, because you don't have the money in your savings account. You're more than likely not going to pay that credit card off. You're going to start accruing interest. If it was $1,000 emergency, your credit card accrues 30% interest every single month. That's going to be 30% interest going on that $1,000 every single month, stacking. But if you're able to build an emergency fund, whether that's 3 or 6 month emergency fund, and I've talked about how to build one in a previous video, you could just literally pay for that emergency, and then you can start saving back towards that emergency fund, getting it back funded, and not feel the stress of some interest piling up on your finances. Like, credit cards definitely have a place within my finances. I can't say if they have a place in yours or not. Credit cards for me, I use them for points, or I use them to get that bonus when you first open a credit card. For example, we're working on a JetBlue credit card right now. Basically, you spend $1,000, you get like 60,000 points. We're just spending $1,000 on the normal things we spend, and then we get that money. Then we're gonna just downgrade the card to one that doesn't have a yearly cost. But that's where credit cards are in for me. I would actually use a credit card for emergencies, but then I would just pay it off immediately from my emergency fund, because whatever emergency is, I'll get points off of that. If it's $5,000 emergency and I get a point for each dollar spent, then I'm just gonna spend on my credit card and then make sure to have my emergency fund account attached to that credit card and pay it off. Like, that's the only way I'm using my credit card. But we don't want to rely on credit cards for emergencies. That is a terrible way of thinking about your finances. And this goes back to, just because everyone has debt doesn't mean you have to. If everyone's broke, would you want to be broke too? No. So we want to have our own mindset. We want to have an emergency fund to rely on emergencies, not credit cards. Third saying that you might have heard is, I'll never be rich. We want to replace this with, I am in the process of building wealth, or I'm going to be building wealth throughout my life so I can be rich later. I'm not rich right now. Of course, I would like to have more money, but I have to work my way there. And if I want to work my way there, it takes a lot of work. I can't just act like it's gonna happen. I can't just sit around and wait for me to build wealth, wait for me to gain more money. I have to invest into the markets. I have to invest in my retirement, invest in the things that I believe in. And if I do that for a long enough time, then I will be wealthy and I will be financially free before I know it. At least I have about 15 years left before I'm almost financially free. In order to get there, I have to continue to earn. I have to continue to learn how to build wealth. And if I want to get there earlier, then then I need to start making more money and investing that money into the markets or investing that money into a business and actually grow that business so that it can provide income to a point where I can leave my day job and become financially free even sooner. Because if you constantly tell yourself that you'll never be rich, your brain will start believing that. And then you're going to do actions that will be the complete opposite of becoming rich. So you want to be rich, then you have to change your mindset and actually tell yourself, I'm going to be rich, or I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to do the things necessary to build wealth so that when I get older, I can be financially free, or in a few years, in 10 years, I'll be financially free. So you have to kind of reverse engineer your way to that financial freedom, to that spot of where you want to get to. And the fourth thing is, I deserve this purchase. And this is something that I see a lot on these podcasts. People come in like financial audit and things like that. I deserve that. I work 40-hour, 50-hour weeks. I deserve to go buy myself something nice. I deserve to go buy that car because I'm just working all day. I'm driving far. I deserve to buy the things that I want. But I would challenge you to practice delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is basically saying, I'm going to get this thing, but I'm just gonna give it a year. I'm gonna give it a few months before I actually go and purchase it. When we say I deserve this, and I do the same thing, we're kind of tricking our mind to purchasing something that we probably don't need or something that we probably can't afford. But because we said we worked hard this year, or because we worked a lot of overtime, we deserve this purchase, so we're gonna go and do it. When deep down inside, we know we probably shouldn't go forward with this. So before you go and buy something that you're saying to yourself, I deserve this, think, will you actually be happier with this purchase? Also think about the opportunity cost and think, will this get me closer to the things that I really want? Will this get me closer to financial freedom? If I go and buy this $50,000 or even $70,000 car, will it get me closer to the goals that I've established? If it does not, then it's probably not something that you should go forward with. And the fifth thing is, I'll start investing when I make more. There's no better time to start investing than right now. And the best time to actually start investing was yesterday. You want to start investing as soon as possible, as early as possible. As soon as you start making money, you want to start putting that money into the stock market. You want to start putting that money into investments that you believe are going to grow. You want to put that money into the S&P 500. You want to put that money into FTEC. You want to put that money into these growth stocks that are growing at a 7 to 10% rate of return, and you want to do that over a long period of time. If you continue to put 15, 20%, even 10% of your income into investments, then you're going to see your net worth explode over time. Not going to explode immediately. This takes time. It takes patience to grow your wealth, to grow this muscle of investing. Be a better investor. It takes time. So you need to stay consistent. Even when you see little growth in your accounts, we want to continue to grow. So instead of saying, I'll start investing when I make more, we're going to say, I'm going to start investing right now. And as I make more, I'm going to invest more, because that's the key to life. If you can avoid lifestyle inflation by investing your raises, then you will see your net worth change. You will see your investments jump. You will see them jump. And I try to raise my investments by 1% every single year, especially my 401k, 1% every year. And before I know it, my 401k is gonna be maxed out, and I'm still gonna be living off the income I had, maybe a little bit of income. Maybe one year we have a raise that's 2% or 4%. I only increased my investment by 1%, so that 3% is coming to me. But we know that a lot of that money is gonna be going to the increase of health insurance and inflation and things like that. But we have to increase our investments every single year, however you wanna do it, however you can do it. Increase your investments as your income grows. We don't want to wait for our income to grow to start investing. We want to start investing as soon as possible, because the sooner we invest, then we'll start seeing that compound interest later in life, because we've done the hard work early on. So even if you have to invest $50 right now because you're not making a lot, then do that. And as time goes on, you want to increase those investments. And the sixth thing I actually heard not too long ago was investing is risky. To be honest with you guys, if you're not investing, then that's the riskiest thing that you can do. And not investing is risky because what are you expected to live off of when you get older? When you're in your 50s, your 60s, when you can't work no more, or you don't want to work no more, you're just tired, what are you going to live off of? Because you believed throughout your whole 20s and 30s that investing was risky, so you just rather not do it. You put some money in a savings account, but that money is not growing at an 8 to 10% rate of return. Yes, there's going to be years when the market is down. It could be down 20%, it could be down 15, or it could just be at 7% or 4%. But over a long period of time, the market rises. That is what it's here for. The market is here for you to make money. So if you're not investing into your future, then you're actually risking your future. Because if you invest your money into smart investments, if you invest your money into, like I said before, the S&P 500. Literally just put your money in VOO and your money is going to rise up over a long period of time. There's going to be days, depending how much is in your account, you might lose $1,000. You might lose that in 2 days. You might lose $5,000 a freaking week. That's a bad week. But over the year, you're more than likely going to gain that money back and more, especially if you're contributing every single month. So you want to make sure you're investing. Don't listen to that investing is risky. And the last one, and this one's an interesting one. It's, I want my kids to have what I never have. And again, I hear this in the podcast, you know, people want to go to Disney or they want to have Disney passes and they want to give their kids an experience that they never had when they were growing up. Honestly, this could be the demise of your finances if you really focus on giving your kids everything that you never had and more. We don't want to do that to the detriment of our finances. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to go on a Disney cruise every year because we weren't able to do that. So we want to make sure that our kids are able to do that. At the end of the day, we're kind of doing it for ourselves. But if that's a detriment to your finances, then we want to stay away from that as much as possible. If you're going in credit card debt or pulling from your 401k to give your kids everything that you never had, and that is something that we don't want to do. If you can't pay for your kids to go to school, that's okay. Like, just because you had to get loans doesn't mean that your kids don't have to get loans. Like, if your kids have to get loans, then do that. That's fine. They can do that and they can pay them off. Just be smart, guide them. You know, tell them, let's do 2 years of community college and then we can do 2 years of undergrad school and then we can actually get our degree that way instead of doing all 4 years of undergrad and then you're paying all this money in student loans. Or you can start saving for your 529 right now. Like, we start saving for our 529, it's almost $10,000 in there. And he's not even 2 years old yet. So we're doing that every single year. I think we're putting like $2,000 in there every single year. And we're actually investing that money. And it goes back to that, investing is risky. Investing can be risky, but you have to put your money into safe funds. Now, there's really no such thing as a safe fund because, like I said, 1 year it could be down 10%. 1 year it could be down 20%. But if you put your fund into something like the total stock market or, like I said before, the S&P 500, over time, they go up and to the right, and that is where we want it to be. Let's not make silly financial decisions because we want our kids to have everything we want. We like to spoil our son a little bit, but we're not gonna just give him everything he wants to the detriment of our finances, to the detriment of our future, because we want to make sure that we're not a burden to him. So we want to continue to invest to our future. We want to pour into him and we also want to pour into us, but we're not going to overfill his cup because we feel guilty because we can't give him a better life than what we had growing up. So that's something to think about, guys. Like, that's a very important one right there. Hopefully someone's hearing that and can kind of prioritize yourself over your kids. I'm not saying prioritize everything over your kids, but definitely don't spoil them, especially to the detriment of your finances. Now, it's something you can afford. If you can afford going to a Disney cruise every year, or you can afford going to Disney every year, and that was something that you didn't really do when you were young, then do it. Don't do it just because you want to give them something that you never had. So changing your finances starts by changing your mindset. And if you can kind of instill these mindset changes into your life, then I believe that you will start seeing your finances change, and especially your family finances. To be honest, the words that you repeat really help you build habits. You repeat these negative words to yourself every single day or every single month, then you're gonna start seeing your life go that way. But if you change your mindset, change those words around, change the words from investing is risky to not investing is even riskier, then I promise you that your finances are gonna change for the better. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video and you got something from this video. Again, check out the links in the description below. Mint Mobile, a phone plan. Me and my wife are paying $60 a month. I think $55 a month right now for our phone plan with Mint Mobile. And it's great. We're not paying $140. So with that extra money that we're saving from not paying $140 to paying only $60 or $55, we can put that towards our investments. We can put that towards vacations. We can put that towards groceries or going out to eat, whatever we want to do with it. So check it out. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.